Now let me start up the stream and see if it records. Seems like it still has some issues. Okay, now it's able to pop up. So that should be good in other people's end. I'm not sure. Just let me know. I'll be monitoring the situation as usual. But anywho, welcome back to Duke Nukem Forever. The article, why do people still care about Duke Nukem Forever so much? And now it's different because now there's going to be a movie related to the anti-hero. Supposedly the anti-hero. Now, I'm going to go back from where I want to leave off. I left off around here, but should I just go through long periods? No. Okay. Okay, yeah. It talks about pretty much the history of how Duke4.net has really contributed to the archiving and the history of the Duke Nukem project, especially after it was released, and seeing how the game has really changed. And, you know, proposing the whole idea that they should release all the gameplay assets of the original Duke Nukem Forever from like just back in like 2001, so people could just try it out, play, see how things are, and so forth. You have the old picture back in the 2001, not the 1997, because looking at the videos, it's quite a different game. I could actually just go up here, where pretty much this is the Duke Nukem 2001 prototype, but there's a series of trailers of the different games, where this is the 2001, and the other one, the other trailer I remember I searched as a YouTube video, so let me search that up. Alrighty, yeah, I should get all the articles. Yes, I got it. Here to go. Yeah, I'm taking them forever, all kind of shit in this video, showing the old gameplay back in 1997 and how it just looks like Half-Life. The uncanny valley of it being a good game for an unreleased game, and also reminding everybody that this is the game for shook people. So yeah, 3D turret section is very similar to Gears of War, which I believe he got inspired by this. Who knows? And then here is 10th anniversary 2001 Duke Nukem Forever game. So comparing a 2D platformer game to this shows how big the game's supposed to be. Now it doesn't look that great, but you can sort of make up what it is, so it's something. Now I could go through other games. So there's so many other versions of the game.
It's my way or hell, it's my way.
2003. So there's two games. I thought they are, and maybe there's going to be other Duke Nukem versions that people want to see, because I take it a bunch of people are fans of different versions. Oh shit, this really does look like Doom 3. Funny enough, this actually is starting to remind me of, well, besides Star Wars X-Wing, it also reminds me of called World at War when it comes to the gunboats mission in the Pacific campaign. But anyhow, 2009, this is when I saw the D and Forever trailer for the first time. Back in 2009. So let's see how different the game is. 3D Realms. Different company.
Reports of any activity from the alien ships. In his speech on Thursday, the president said he remains cautious but optimistic regarding the recent alien visitation.
I'm issuing you a direct order not to engage in hostile interaction with the alien visitor. I know you don't like this, dude. We can't go in with guns blazing just yet.
Why doesn't somebody do something to protect us? Isn't this what we pay the government for?
But you'll protect everyone if the president is wrong about them, won't you, Duke?
Get to the Duke Dome as fast as you can. An advance force is already on its way, but they're outmanned and outgunned. We need you, Duke. Now more than ever.
Oh my god, he said the line. He said the line.
What? Did you think I was gone forever?
And there we go. It looks like this is the game that was released. Yet, this isn't not the year when it was released. It was just a few years later. So how much has they changed?
Time for some roid rage.
Yeah, I mean, even looking at the game, it looks pretty stiff. Pretty... I want to say blurry because of the damn trailer. It's all low res. So yeah, spring 2010. Always be bid on it.
I hate to kick my own ass, but
Alas.
it's gotta be done.
2011, year when Duke got out. Yeah. I recall that this, because of the text, it actually came out 2011. So this was recent.
Who saved the world? A man whose very presence sent aliens running back to their motherships. The man who disappeared without a trace. When the invaders came back, they came back angry. They tore our planet apart, bit by bit. But they made one mistake. They shouldn't have gone after our women.
Damn it. Why do they always take the hot ones?
Right now, playing some modern music back in the day, which is now just old.
Right in the jewels. Rest in pieces. What?
That's new.
Did you think I was gone forever?
So that model looks quite different from the one that came out 2009.
Hell, I'd still hit it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just pretty much in the Pistons section. The trailer still goes on. Plain good old. Well, at least it's not dubstep because that would really, really make it quite.
Coochie coochie. Hail to the king, baby.
What about the game, Duke? Was it any good?
Yeah, but after 12 Years it should be.
And no spoiler, that's pretty much the ending of the game. Yeah, back 2K, 3D rounds, design coming out game makeup on PC, CD-ROM, PS3, and Xbox 360 along with other things. And there's Gearbox. Now, the old model that was here looks quite different from this model.
Did you think I was gone forever?
Interesting enough, I actually starting to like this model because there's just so much textures, like the muscles and stuff.
Did you think I was gone forever?
And it's quite stiff. I would say stiff in a way where
Did you think I was
his arms and pecs are not moving compared to this one. Now, one big reason is because of how everything is framed. This one is very framed in an angle, very up close.
Did you think I was gone forever?
But yeah. And yeah, you could see the big old pig that was coming through.
Now more than ever. What?
There's no noise, so that's how I didn't see that it was actually coming from a pig monster. So I guess that's the reason why I didn't want to go with this. But yeah, it looks like they changed it.
Did you think
Yeah, everything gone. Models are different. It looks more.
can't go in? Gone.
I just say the character design is a lot more well-rounded.
Time for some roid rage.
Yet, you still see some issues when it comes to colors, when it comes to environment, when it comes to even enemy monsters. But hey, you know, looking through that, there is these games, I think in 2003, where it looks very interesting to play of because this is reminding me of SWAT 4 and yeah, Doom 3. No, Doom 3. So I do wonder if people are interested in playing this version. Besides this one. But I take it just because there's a lot more color. There's a lot more enemy variety. There's a lot more action. Besides this one where it seems like it very looks like a Half-Life
What I call a close encounter.
mod. And it being very golden eye. Like, I do wonder if people actually are interested in playing that type of game because truth is, GoldenEye, people like playing it, but just because it was part of its time. And that the appeal was also with playing with other people. That's where most people's nostalgia and memories come from. But anyhow, those are all the trailers, and this is the PC Gamer back in alrighty, yeah. Then November 11th, November 1997. This was the picture because the trailer come out, which 3D that came out like around a few years. So they were working on the game a few years afterwards and even show a trailer of it. Yet it's so mystified how the game later came out in 2011. And now with its new version came out 10 years later, around the 30th anniversary. And yeah, fun fact, the PC game cover for Duke Nukem Forever was approved by Star Wars World One screenwriter Gary Whitta, who at the time was PC Gamer's editor-in-chief. Yeah, because the guy had a expansive history with working in different businesses and other stuff. I mean, he even got the chance to make a Disney property and a Star Wars property, you know that. A movie. A separate Star Wars movie where he is just known for that, and hopefully he is known for more things. Hopefully. Star Wars Rogue One came out years ago, so yeah, be that. Now, looking at Duke Nukem 3, this is pretty much the game and how it looks like, and then later on looking at the screenshot of the original version of Prey in the late 90s, and it pretty much looks like that. I even see the Half-Life Black Mesa landscape and such, which yeah, looks a bit similar to the 1997 version of Duke Nukem Forever. And then later on it showcases more things. Till we got to here. So let me finish up this. Our mission was to just keep it going forever, kind of a pun on the name of the game itself, he said. And so a part of me personally has always wanted to keep it going because it's not just nostalgia, it's the simpler time. Whether it was because I was much younger, but also because maybe the political atmosphere of the country was different. But also because maybe the political atmosphere of the country was different. Okay, yeah. The time where you were excited to eat pizza and play video games and didn't really think about bills and problems of the ordinary nature that all of us have in our adulthoods. So keeping the website going to some extent may just be maintaining a link to the simpler, happier time. Oh man. Duke Nukem 3D was at the best a crass satire centered around a send-up of 80s Hollywood action heroes. It treated women poorly, but the game seemed to be winking at the player, knowing Duke was a jerk. It's not surprising for satire to age poorly, but Duke has aged particularly poorly because of the 2011 Duke Nukem Forever, which left the referential humor and knowing nods behind the celebrated its sexism and misogyny without irony. Last year, it was revealed a Duke Nukem project, which would be anything from a movie adaptation to a new game, was being considered. Yeah, and interesting enough, people are looking at a movie version of it. But it's hard to nail down how Duke fits in. Wolfenstein: The New Order and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus showed it's possible to drag an old shooter into modern times and give it a real depth and pathos, and people often joke about how you might be able to pull off a progressive Duke Nukem. 70%? Oh wait. 70% chance of being annoying, but it's be funny if they pulled out Wolfenstein and made progressive Duke Nukem, said highlighter reel editor Chris Person on Twitter. Like he's still into getting pussy, guitar riff, but now he's into Dick 2, thrash model goes hard. Shake it, ladies, or don't, joked another person on Twitter. Whatever you feel validates you as a person, guitar riff. That sounds funny as hell, actually. You could even keep the classic Duke voice. It's important for whoever is working on Duke to answer the questions, who is Duke? Said Wood, who is now making his own thing, an adventure game about a cat wandering around the city and wearing cute hats. Little kitty, big city. To my friends and me playing Duke 3D, he was an outrageously crass caricature which to us at the time was hilarious. But I know for some fans and developers who worked on him, he wasn't a joke. So once you decide who Duke really is, you have to think hard about how you want him to be represented. I do not think there is a way to make Duke into a real character that isn't just a one-dimensional, misogynistic, quote, spewing machine. But is it worth it? He said, to me, Duke was interesting because of the world and the game that he inhabited. Duke as a character appealed to my teenage boy mind who spent my days quoting movies and being crass. But I think for him to succeed beyond the Roblox crowd these days, he needs to grow up a little bit. Yeah, sure. But I mean, isn't the case with the Wolfenstein series where they're still looking at making him a big character, regardless of who takes it. Most likely the fans. They're not looking at a wide audience like who playing Roblox, playing Fortnite, and even playing with other games like Apex Legends. They're just making a game where the gameplay would be sufficient enough, and he should be a backdrop. Because I'm imagining how the Wolfenstein series, the new one, the New Order series, put a backdrop in either its story or its gameplay. Because what is it? It's a few people who were working on them, and they had an idea of how the game should be played like and as. Where some people wanted to introduce an old form, yet a nuanced version of the old gameplay from the 90s, especially the old Wolfenstein. And others who wanted to create a world that follows along with the story. There's a review and retrospective debate on the gameplay of the franchise, and that how when it comes to the New Order, they have these two camps where there was the gameplay and the story, along with the set dressing and stuff like that, where later on the setting started dominating more into the gameplay. And where the gameplay, well, for some people, they tend to use the other term, regressing. But there's other things related to that. It's one of those things where the game doesn't have a director, so you can't really follow a specific person who do things. And I mean, it's not that it's good or bad, because it's not entirely good due to how in video games there's just so many people who put their ideas together, and how they don't come to the public and talk about the process stuff. That's why it's so interesting to see behind the scenes of development of a particular game, documentation of it, and opinions on how they look at things and stuff like that. I wish they have that more in promotional materials than just trailers, commercials, and such. Because it reminds me of the Waypoint days, pun not intended, of Bungie, and how they would have vlogs on, what was it, Vidocs, of the behind the scenes process of the Halo series and what each person combines and stuff like that. One reason is because they looked at that as promotional material to commercialize it, which it does think that it hasn't progressed more into that. And you don't get to see how people who are working on this come up with all this work. So yeah, that was the case with Wolfenstein. That could be the case with Duke Nukem. It's the case with, I would say, Doom. But then again, I actually don't know much about Doom history, because I know a lot about the New Order, then you have the New Colossus, and then what is it? the other one, that the latest Wolfenstein that I just don't. I just blank out my mind now. But yeah, for Doom and Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, I don't know much about that, but maybe that's something I could look at, cover, because Doom Eternal came out a while ago, and Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are way different games. Yet they actually explain how the games are different and why they look at that. But anywho, certainly Duke Nukem is probably going to, if it was released in the game, it's going to be either gameplay, focus a lot more with gameplay, or the setting and the character. And hopefully they would do both to see if, and they want to make it a franchise, what they would put. But seems like Duke Nukem is such a franchise and still memorable that they're even looking at making a movie. Something a lot of video games have not done. I'm thinking about Mass Effect and how such a great game, no movie. And it's been years. And they say that also with Halo, but at least we have it. So that could be something in the future. Or it could be nothing in the future. Anywho, this was the article from a good old articleist and person that we follow, Patrick Kelpick. Now, let's look at other articles he has made recently. So yeah, he made this, and there's the first crypto game coming to Epic Game Store. Yeah, the video game version of the thing is an empty promise worth playing. Okay. How we spent the last month examining the thing. Man. With so many games being released, how do we keep anyone to pay attention? That could be something. But going through this, I'll come back to video games. But anywho, we have other things we can follow. And I'll consider those things. Anywho,